We are here outside White Hart Lane with Rob White, who is a massive Tottenham fan, bit of a historian to say the least. Rob, can you tell us a little bit about your connection to Tottenham?
Hi there. Yeah. I'm a Spurs fan. My dad played for Spurs from 1959 to 1964. His name was John White, and he was a member of the double winning team. And another connection is my mum's dad, my grandfather, was a guy called Harry Evans, and Harry Evans was Bill Nicholson's assistant from 1958 to 1962. So yeah, it's unfortunately it's one of those things that's in my blood, and it's with me forever, really.
One of the most striking elements of this locality is the Ledley King mural. You're pretty instrumental in getting this thing up.
Yeah, exactly. Through my voluntary work that I do with the Supporters Trust, the Tottenham Hotspurs Supporters Trust Board, it was a project of mine that I took about 18 months to get the whole thing sourced, finalised, signed off, in conjunction with the club, in conjunction with the Tottenham Community Sports Centre here, which is where the wall was. Yeah, we had a real battle, getting permissions and working it out, but it's fantastic and it's been brilliant. It's been something that the whole community's engaged with, and Ledley absolutely loved it. His family love it. So it's been a really good thing, and it's something that I hopefully we can build on in the local area, because I think that one of the great things about the club being where it is, or the ground being where it is, we can help just to embed that into the local community a bit more, because this big shiny spaceship has landed here, and actually some people still need, I think a lot of the local community need to know the story of heroes like Ledley and other people. So that was my thought process behind getting it done.
Can you put into words just exactly how important Ledley King is to the club?
I think the quote, "This is my club, my one and only club," which is a Ledley King quote, obviously that's why it's on the wall. And when somebody suggested it, I had to go and look it up again, because I didn't realise those words belong to him. They sound like they should have been Shankly or Nicholson or Harry Kane. Yeah. But actually, I think that's what it means to a lot of people. And at the same time, there was the other centre-back who famously went down the road. And there will never be a mural of that person anywhere near this club. And that is just what Ledley means to the community, what he means to the club, and what he means to the fans, really. So, yeah, he's a brilliant role model to have on the wall here.
What is it, 8 hours roughly away from kickoff? We've got Steve from the Coach and Horses, which is the pub I'm sitting outside right now, as Steve's cat tries to paw away at our equipment. Your cat Ronnie, I think, is his name. Pretty excited for the derby tonight, it seems.
Yeah, same as myself. This is probably one of the first fixtures I look out for when they come out in June or July. And it's a big game for both sets of fans. But there's always been rivalry there, and always will be. But in recent years, there's also a big rivalry with West Ham and Chelsea. Looking forward to it immensely.
What is it like running a pub in the heart of Tottenham territory on North London Derby Day?
It doesn't matter about being a North London derby, because this pub is strictly Tottenham supporters only. But there's a buzz about all the supporters who come in. Like I say, everyone looks forward to this game, and the bragging rights, of course. If you lose, it's not very nice for the next couple of weeks going to work, because you get the stick from the other lot. But that's how it works out. But
is there a big collection of Arsenal fans then, in terms of your friends group and the people you mix with then?
Actually, one of my best friends is an Arsenal fan, and he will be here tonight, but he's not welcome in this pub tonight. They'll have to go somewhere else.
Well, this flag, we was asked to do the Star of David on where the Moose to Dembele is, but I wouldn't do it. I done the Moose. And then there's Arsene Wenger in the corner.
Can we have a closer look at him?
Yeah, I had him stuffed. It was for Halloween, but...
So what is it about this person's features that reminds you of Arsene Wenger?
Ugly.
How long has Arsene Wenger been a fixture of this pub for?
Since Halloween 2 years ago. Yeah. So, but Daniel Levy's got one of them in his... on Halloween he puts it out, because the workman took a picture.
No
and
way.
showed me, yeah. But
So
his one's got a skull. Mine's just got a tray. And this is Moussa Dembele. Yeah, I bought the moose head and I was told it wasn't allowed to go up there. And then the boys decorated it, and everyone loves the sign.
Okay, we have finally found a brave Arsenal fan outside White Hart Lane. I am with YouTube sensation Crispian. How are you getting on?
I'm cool, man. Looking forward to the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's it like walking around here in the red of Arsenal?
Interesting. Get a lot of stairs. Hello. Kind of like you're an alien, even though you live in the city of London. But yeah, it's interesting. Big game tonight. Probably biggest North London derby in a long time. Probably in the last 16 years.
What are your tips for being an Arsenal fan surviving around White Hart Lane today?
Smile. Just be humble, really, because we all know who's the bigger club in North London, and it's definitely not the club behind us.
I've tried to speak to Glenn Hoddle. I've tried to speak to Robbie Keane. I've tried to speak to every single Spurs legend, and I can officially say that I am starstruck because one of the most famous Tottenham people in the world is here with me. It is OTB's resident Spurs fan, Bob Dwyer. Bob, I'm just so starstruck, as I say, to meet you. People often come up to me in the street and say, wow, Martin Lipton and John Duggan know their shit about Spurs, but Bob Dwyer, he really knows his shit.
Look, I'm going to be humble about it, but I am. Like, Martin Lipton wasn't on OTB AM this morning, and I was ready to go, so I'm kind of insulted I didn't get the invite. So I'd done my research. I had looked over Spurs Arsenal for the last 11 games, and Spurs had won 7, drawn 2, and lost 2. Arsenal had won 7, lost 4.
So I've brought along today just a scrapbook because it's about some of the stuff that I thought might be relevant to do with my dad. And this picture at the opening picture, the scrapbook was collated by one of my dad's cousins, and this shows my dad wearing a Northern Ireland shirt, and he played against Northern Ireland for Scotland in 1959, just before Spurs were going to sign him. And he swapped shirts with Danny Blanchflower. My dad swapped shirts with Danny Blanchflower, and the story goes that when Danny Blanchflower got back to White Hart Lane after having been beaten by Scotland, Bill Nicholson said to him, what did John White play like? And Danny Blanchflower said, well, he was amazing, he was fantastic. And Bill Nick said, well, we've got a chance of signing him. And Danny Blanchflower said, well, I'd get up and do it as soon as you can because he's going to be a great player. And lo and behold, that's why he came. Supposedly, that's why he came to Spurs. There are various other stories, but that's the one I like.
Brilliant. What else have we got here?
I've got. We were talking earlier about the start of the club, and it was supposedly, again, legend has it, in 1882, 3 schoolboys met under a lamppost, which is just. It's actually the actual site of the lamppost has been sort of lost in the mist of time, but it's probably about 50 or 60 yards from where we were standing. And this is a Christmas card that was sort of reproduced, or it was made by the club in, I think it was 62 or 63, which was sort of illustrates that lamppost story. And the original story, there's Bobby Buckle and 2 of his friends who were 14-year-old boys at the time, who met and decided to form a sports club or a football club. And the original house that the football club was based in is just along the road here, called Percy House, and that's actually been refurbished by the club, and it's now the headquarters of the Tottenham Hotspur Foundation.
So is the lamppost story true or not?
I like to think the lamppost story is true. Yeah, I think it's probably been embellished over time. It was certainly started by a group of school kids. They were helped by a guy called John Ripshaw, and it was started actually. There were teenagers from White Hart Lane and teenagers from Northumberland Park who were basically getting into trouble and fighting. And this place was a bit more suburban, a lot more spread out. And this guy decided that one of the ways of stopping that happening would be to get these boys to form a football team, and that's what they did, and that was in 1882. And we're 140 years on, and we've come to this basically.